Hi, and welcome back to Yield Mint. This is Eric, and today we are following up on our Sharpie annealing video from a couple of weeks ago. So what you're looking at here is the blanks that we did with the Sharpie, and then I showed you a copper blank that hasn't been annealed that we just cut next to it there, so you can see the color difference. We're going to use some Never Dull to kind of clean these up a little bit. If you remember from the previous video, had a little bit of soot on them, and they were also a very matte finish. As you see, I'm wearing rubber gloves here. Anytime you work with any kind of cleaner chemical, I always recommend putting on something to protect your hands and your skin. We're going to polish them up a little bit here and kind of see how they look. As you can see, quite a bit is coming off of them. Um, but what you can't see is that they are still very much matte finish. So we're going to go ahead and clean those up, and we're going to stamp them along with some other ones that we annealed that day without using the Sharpie. So here's the setup. You'll see the coin infill there. I'm putting in the die, putting in the collar. This helps hold everything in place while we stamp. Inside the collar goes our coin blank. You'll notice here I'm going ahead and putting in the die and not putting in the coin blank. And that is a mistake. Realize what I'm doing, fixing it as we go. So I'm lining those up. That's why it looks like it takes a bit of a precision touch there. And I'm going ahead and putting in the cap. We're going to hit it with our trusty 14-pound sledge, of which we need a name. I realize there's no name for this hammer on the channel, so please put in the comments below if you've got a suggestion for a name for my hammer, and we'll see what we can do with coming up with a nickname, because just referring to it as the hammer doesn't seem right at the start of the video. So we're going to go ahead and pull that out of there, take a peek. If you haven't seen this part before, when you stamp the coin, it presses it up against the inside of the collar so tight that you can't slide it out. We kind of got to pound it out, and I use a dowel rod for that. And you can see we got a very nice strike. And here's the other side. Now this is one of the ones that we did not use the Sharpie on. I'm going to go ahead and stamp the rest of these. There's about 25 coins in total. You'll notice on the ones that we did not use the Sharpie on, how I annealed those is I just kind of waited for them to start to change colors. The patterns were insane. Rainbow patina across some. Some of them had a very bronze look to them. Some of them had kind of an ashy look. There was just a wide variety of colors, and you'll kind of see that here at the end of the video when I show the entire collection. What I wanted to do is I wanted to stamp some of those alongside some of the Sharpie ones to see what we got as far as how good of a stamp we were able to achieve. And that's what we're going to look at coming up here in just a moment. As you can see on these Sharpie ones, we got a really good stamp and a great strike on these. They were soft enough. They all came out as perfect as they could. The lettering is very, very crisp. It's raised up. As you can see, it looks very nice, but it is a matte finish. That's why I'm using the flashlight. I want to give you a little bit closer look on there. As you can see exactly how deep that lettering is. Um, and then as you can see here, these are the ones we did not use the Sharpie on. I did not shoot them in the video, but they have a wide variety of colors, and I really wanted you to kind of get the full feel of how different they actually all looked. This is a close-up, and as you can see, the lettering on these is not quite as nice, and the strike isn't quite as good. So we have a little bit of work to do figuring out the annealing process. I have some ideas on some other ways to anneal it and a different way to apply heat rather than directly from the torch onto the coin, and I'm hoping that solves our variance of the patina, also gets rid of kind of that dull finish that we get on some of them, but I do need to get them to the proper heat so that we can get great strikes, because that's what this is all about. So please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you know anything about annealing, have some suggestions, please go ahead and put them below. Please leave a comment if there's something that you like in the video or something that you don't like. I'm open to criticism. And also, if you have any ideas for new dies, I would love that, because I need to come up with about 15, and I only have about 5 so far. And so suggestions for the other 10 would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching Yield Mint. Have a wonderful day.